and Galway met for the second time in 3 weeks. Commentary on this one comes from Marty Morrissey.
Limerick manager John Kiley has selected his starting 15 with a central spine that looks strong. Goalkeeper Nicky Quaid is top class, while Richie McCarthy at fullback can be inspirational. Declan Hannon seems to be revitalised since moving to centre-back, while Gearóid Hegarty has taken life in the attack so positively that it's difficult to imagine him playing anywhere else. Wing-back Diarmuid Byrnes is the team captain. Galway seek a league final place for the first time in 7 years, and once again, one man, Joe Canning, has been a key figure on their journey to this semi-final. John Hanbury has recovered from injury to take his place at fullback beside Adrian Toohey and Aidan Hart. Up front, the Coonies, Joe and Connor, are on form at the moment. Post, it's still alive. Cathal Mannion is on it, trying to get inside Richie McCarthy. The follow-up shot from Mannion is accurate and true, and it's over the bar. First score of the match. Gathering it is Pádraig Breheny, laying it off far as Conor Cooney, sending it goal bound. Oh, that is a superb point. Break picked up by Adrian Toohey. Gathered cleanly by Conor Cooney. It's dropping in, and it's dropping over the bar. Well, Conor Cooney is clearly a man in form. Cian Lynch chasing this one, so too is Adrian Toohey, but Lynch has skill. Lovely stick work. Here's Lynch. Ball cuts across the base of the goal. It could have been so much more. Here's David Dempsey from the Piercing, spraying it over far as Diarmuid Byrnes from Patrick's well, and that's over the bar. Joe Canning. Far as Pádraig Mannion, who was unmarked, and he hits it straight between the posts. Ball up for Graham Mulcahy. Oh, he did rather well. Chance here for Dempsey, cutting inside and taking the shot and scooping it over the bar. Picked up nicely by Cathal Mannion. Mannion heading towards goal, lays it off to Whelan, he pulls the trigger. Good defending again by the Limerick full back line of Richie English, Richie McCarthy, Mike Casey, Brennan returning as Conor Whelan takes the shot and puts it over the bar. Just when you think Limerick had the situation under control. But good work by Galway. Here comes Cathal Mannion, and that is over the bar. Second point of the game. Winning the battle at the moment with Richie McCarthy. Galway attack are coming to terms with the Limerick defence at the moment, and it's Conor Cooney with a third point of the game. Nice pick up by David Dempsey. Double marked, ball inside, there's a chance here for Limerick. Brilliant goal. William O'Donoghue, the midfielder, coming through, and he rattles the back of the net. Dual star in the case of scoring a goal here. William O'Donoghue, football-like, toe poking it into the back of the net, and Limerick get a crucial goal. Ball is knocked down. Gathering it here is Johnny Cohen. He's well capable of putting this between the posts, and that's exactly what he's done. Canning gets the ball in. Latching onto this is Conor Whelan. Nice turn over the bar. Got a touch, enough to set up Cian Lynch. Nice skill by Lynch. Looking around at the options. Slipping one through for Graham Mulcahy, trying to protect himself from the challenge. Ball is available. David Dempsey is there, but Cian Lynch is at the end of it to lash this over the crossbar for his first point in this league semi-final. Joe Canning, lovely ball in for his Cathal Mannion. Mannion pulls the brakes, all Limerick go one way, Mannion goes the other. It's a great point. It's his third of the game. Comes out first, Diarmuid Byrnes. lashes it down. Ball breaks into the middle. Chasing out with Garrod Higgerty. Knocked away. Comes Ferris Hayes. Back outside by Shane Dowling. Flicks it high. Very high. Dowling is satisfied. He trots away, knowing that the white flag will be raised. Crossing it in towards big Joseph Cooney. But good defending on this occasion by Limerick. They come away with it. Nicely sidestepped. Alan Dempsey into the centre. David Dempsey, the brother. And again, Limerick overdue a short passing, over elaborate, and they might well pay the penalty here. It's a great score by David Butt. Ball is cut into the middle towards Conor Whelan. Limerick have the possession once more. Mike Casey trying to get it down for us, David Dempsey. William O'Donoghue not liking that challenge. But to his credit, he restrained himself, and it's a free for Limerick. Shane Dowling, just outside his own 45-metre line. He gives this absolutely everything. It's his 5th point of the game. From inside his own 45-metre line, a brilliant point. By left corner back, Aidan Hart. Galway turned defence into attack. Crossfield ball aimed at Conor Cooney. Cooney flicking one into the middle, but there's nobody running in there. And it's easily gathered by Richie McCarthy. It's dropping. Oh, good hands. There's a chance here of a point, and it's taken by Barry Nash. He judges it perfectly. Shane Dowling gets a touch. Going back to gather is Garrod McInerney. McInerney about to be challenged by Kyle Hayes. Step McInerney. Powerful McInerney. Good play, Garrod McInerney. Needs to get rid of it now. Over for his colleague Carl Mannion. Long ball up towards Cooney. Cooney gets inside the cover. He's fouled, but the ball is in the back of the net. Conor Cooney had to battle so hard. Great ball inside. Cooney got inside the cover that Limerick provided and batted it into the back of the net. That's a goal and 3 points for the corner forward from St. Thomas's. He was fouled here. The referee allowed the advantage. Ball back outside. Nice work by Sean Finn. Runs a little bit into a wall of Galway defenders, a cul-de-sac. Comes back out for his Cathal Mannion. Given the space, given the time, he'll provide the accuracy. It's his 4th point of the match. Joe Canning did rather well, despite the best efforts of Richie English. Canning stepping away, going for his first point from play, and it sails between the posts. Beautiful to watch. Johnny Cohen lays it off for us, Torrick Mannion. Conor Cooney goes up for it. Gavin O'Mahony has to backtrack. Dispossessed rather easily by Conor Whelan. Back out for us, Conor Cooney, and he floats it between the posts and over the bar. And there is the best example of tenacious attacking by Galway. Possession given away so easily, even directly from the puck out as Joe Canning gathers it. Good work by Limerick. Through hard pressure, they won the ball back, and John Fitzgibbon scores a fine point. Well, he's added a bit of dash and fire since he's been introduced. James Ryan running onto this, flicked it forward. He did really well. Tries to cut inside. Still James Ryan. Wins himself a free, despite the fact that Barry Nash was arriving. Barry Nash floating this one in and floating it over the bar for his 2nd point of the game. Dermot Burns, fantastic catch again. We've seen some wonderful fielding in this game. That was as good as what we've seen, in fact. Just taking too much out of it every time. Galway come away with it. Nice play, Galway, opening it up. Thomas Monaghan. Sending this, dropping over the bar. Good score. And the referee, on the stroke of 74 minutes, blows the whistle, which signals Galway are through to the Allianz Hurling League final next Sunday, and for the very first time in 7 years. Despite its spirited display by Limerick, overall Galway the better team, both in the first half and indeed in the second half. And at the very end, a 10-point winning margin reflects on their display here today. Galway 121, Limerick 111.
The aim of every team is to probably stay in the league as long as you can and get you closer to your first championship game, and in that regard we're delighted with it. But look, it's one of the national titles that's up for grabs now, so at least now we can go back and focus on it for the week and look forward to it.
Despite maybe not playing as well as we would have liked to play today, with 15 minutes to go, we were still in the game, and there was only a couple of points in it. We made a couple of substitutions at that stage. But to be fair to Galway, I think they showed, why they've been thereabouts with the last couple of years when it comes to All-Irelands, because they just had the experience and the strength to, impose themselves on the last quarter on the game, and they closed out easy winners in the finish. But I'd still be giving a lot of credit to our lads for the effort that they put in all right through the league. We've taken an awful lot of positives out of it, but quite disappointed, I suppose, with the end result today. But overall, I think the league has been positive for us.
Yeah, John Kiley kind of put it in the correct terms there, Ken, didn't he? They had, I suppose it's been a decent campaign for Limerick when you look back on it, but he'll be disappointed the way that finished there today, won't he?
Yeah, overall it's probably been an overall decent enough league for him. Bowed out tamely enough in the second half today. When Galway upped the tempo and upped the speed of their hurling, they were more fluent in the second half, and 121 to 111, it was comprehensive enough in all fairness. And I suppose that's the one probably negative for John Kiley. The home crowd never got involved because there was not much really shouted about in the second half, and it was very comfortable for Galway in the end.
Yeah, 9,500 people didn't exactly jump off their seats for that one either. Jackie, we've seen Division 1B teams winning in the past. Waterford won a league, Clare won a league. Galway could win the league this year, having not been promoted from Division 1B. I mean, you don't want to call it a flaw, but I suppose it's just another talking point in this league.
Yeah, it's an interesting stat. Galway have a great chance now in the league final. The previous two winners were from 1B, and it's probably something that the GA maybe need to look at. Maybe it's down to the fact that in 1B it's not as a pressurised an environment as 1A, and it's not as competitive, so you can experiment, you can try different things, you can try different people and things like that. So you learn more about your actual panel and that. But as regards today, Galway will be happy going back to Galway tonight, but they won't have learned a whole lot. Limerick didn't really put up that much of a fight towards them today, so they'll be happy to get a great test again, tipping the league final, and not have learning a whole lot today.
Let's look at how they did win this game then, Ken. I mean, the game plan that they laid out, it certainly worked for them today, didn't it?
Yeah, they varied their game plan throughout the whole day. The majority of the game plan was probably crisp, sharp hurling, forwards movement. You'd see it in a couple of clips we have here. The forwards kept moving, and they bypassed a lot of congested area at times in the middle. Here's just a simple pop pass out. Johnny Cohen, nice tap over the bar, and their striking was good all day. They looked very fluent in their striking. I was impressed with them against Waterford a couple of weeks ago as well. And here again, Limerick rambled an awful lot of ball. David Burke, fast direct ball into the corner, outside of the back, and there's Conor Cooney and a nice tap over the bar. He got 1-4 from play. He looked very, very sharp today. And overall, I think Michael Donoghue will be very happy with Galway, how they moved and they varied their play. They popped a pass and lads won their own ball. Great catch again by Conor Cooney here, and he looked very sharp. And I know they changed their physical trainer this year, and they look very, very fit. And here again, there's a simple little pop pass out. Cotton Mannion on his own, and a good strike, which a good player should do, and taps the ball over the bar. And they scored at ease there today. And I'd say he's happy man tonight, and he can work on it next week against Tippin. It's a massive game, but it's a great game to have. It's a pressure-free game, I think, next week in the league, and they're building for the championship then,
By contrast, Jackie, I mean, we were watching Limerick today, and at times you were wondering what was the plan, because they seemed to be playing, they didn't quite know what they were trying to do.
Yeah, and you can see there from Ken's analysis, Galway had a great, varied game plan. Limerick hadn't got one. They lacked ideas, they lacked leadership. They lacked any kind of cohesion, and the simple skills, which is the most disappointing thing, they didn't execute at all, like rising the ball, simple hand passing, going astray, striking very poor. And that was the most disappointing thing, because John Kiley will be scratching his head a bit tonight. Even here, going back out the field with the ball, you know, Shane Dowling hits a ball away, ball is turned over, Galway on the attack again. You know, and that's the really frustrating thing for them, that they hadn't a plan A, nor they hadn't even a plan B. And this is a Limerick team 3 years ago put Kilkenny to the pin of their collar in an All-Ireland semi-final, and you know, there was a real edge to them then. Now they don't really have that edge, they don't have that intensity. You know, and they're really stuck in a rut at the minute, and it'll be worrying for John Kiley and his guys, because where do you go from here? I mean, the Division 1B looks like it's going to be the same next year, and they're regressing, the last 3 years. And you know, next year it mightn't be any easier for them. So
why are they regressing?
it's a good question, and maybe it's taken a while for Paul Kinnerk and John Kiley's new management to come in there and bed in. I know they've not a lot of new young lads, but fundamentally they're lacking leaders, you know, and you need leaders to step up to drive the thing on. And I didn't see any leaders there today from Limerick at all, and I think that is a real issue, and John Kiley and his lads will have to address it and get leaders all over the field, because when things were going against them today, and they were in that game for large periods of the game, they needed someone to step up, and no one stepped up, and they're really lacking an inside marquee forward of the calibre of Seamus Cannon, of John McGrath, of Conor MacDonald, and they don't have that.
It'd be interesting to see what he can do about that. Ken, when we look at Galway again, I mean, you mentioned they did get scores from all over the field, but you had to be impressed with their full forward line today. 110 from play. I mean, they did everything, didn't they?
Yeah, I suppose, look, Jackie said it, if Limerick were ponderous and not at our play, Galway were the total opposite, and moving that ball at speed, and so their first touch was top notch. And it's something you'd always you feel Galway will have the first touch, and on their game they're as good as anyone. And we've seen that the last 2 or 3 years, how close they are to winning the All-Ireland, and very close to tip over the last year or two. And there's Conor Whelan, he had tenacity to his game today, dispossessed Richie English, tapped it over the bar, a good score. Coming up here is Cotton Mannion, as I said, a loose ball again, and it's just a good strike. It's a good strike on their own. It's a player with confidence. A player should get that. I know the county player should get it, but a lot of players miss him. But Galway were on their game today, and that's a great ball for a forward. The outside of the back, very hard for the back to defend. Conor Cooney does very well, in all fairness, very cute, brave, and a good finish. But that's a hard ball for a back. And look, Jackie played cornerback for years. He knows all about it. He pulled the jersey for years as well and got away with it. But that was a great score. Conor Cooney, he probably one place he could put it, and it was a very cute score.
Difference with that lad is he would have taken him out completely. You know, he still managed to get the score, Jackie. You know, the cornerback brigade would have been in on that one.
Yeah, well, back in my time, the CCC weren't knocking around, and you know, there was umpires are a lot more vocal now and things like that, so you have to be a bit cuter about it. But yeah, and that kind of goes back to the aggression levels that we talked about Limerick. It just wasn't there today, you know, and there was 2 guys there back as sweepers. Should have been really swallowing up Conor Cooney and giving him no chance, no sniff of a goal. But you know, unfortunately, Limerick didn't do that today.
Do you notice much of a difference about Galway? I mean, there isn't a huge change in personnel in the team that, let's say, you would have been playing in All-Ireland finals even a couple of years ago to what you see now. I mean, they're getting different scorers. We'll look at Joe Canning in a minute. But, like, is there a different dimension to this Galway play from what you've seen this year?
We still have to find that out, and I think the league final will tell a massive amount this Galway team. I'm really looking forward to how Galway front up against Tipperary. I mean, the All-Ireland semi-final last year, Pádraig Maher rattled Joe Canning very on, and they won the physicality, and they set the tone. So I'm hoping that Galway bring that physicality. You know, you'll have Joe Canning on the 40, you know, you'll have Conor Cooney, big guys, Joe Cooney 6'4", and they really need, I want to see this Galway team fronting up physically and going at this Tipperary team. So, you know, they've huffed and puffed this Galway team, and I'm hoping that they come with the aggression that they showed today and bring it to another level, because, you know, Limerick is one thing, facing this seasoned Tipperary team who are hard hitting, the Mars on the half back line, you know, big strong men. These Galway lads, they have the physicality, as Ken has spoken about, but they need to bring it, and they need to bring it for 70 minutes.
You mentioned Joe. Let's look at his performance today. I mean, I suppose we saw him score 110 against Waterford. We know he can do that in spades. Turned provider today.
Yeah, he really did, and he was, you know, we all know Joe is a real talisman for Galway, and we see him at 14, but today he was a provider. Look at that, great ball, bouncing in front of Conor Whelan over the bar, and he did this all day. He was out rummaging around the field. Here he is now deep in his own half, picks the ball, flicks a lovely ball down to Cotton Mannion, and over the bar again, and that's the role that Joe has now. And like for Tipperary, this is you know, a different focal point that they'll have to look at. And this is the great thing for Galway. He's a ball winner. Here he is winning his own puck out, carries it 30-40 yards, and look at that for skill. Straight over the bar off the hurl. and he really is for Galway. For Galway, they need the Joe show going well, and today he did that in a different role and a different capacity.
Yeah, you'd have been proud of that one yourself, Ken, as well. You know, I suppose for Joe Canning, for so long, I think people have just been, maybe there's an over-reliance, people might have thought, for Galway, but it was great to see him sort of change his role for Galway as well today, and for them to get a little bit more out of it.
Look, I suppose Joe's been the focal point for the Galway attack for 10 years now, and if Joe wasn't getting 5 and 6 points in play, Galway weren't winning a lot of games, but get 1 point from play today. I thought he was decent enough, but it allowed other players that probably, as Jackie said, become leaders, express themselves a bit more, and the way they played, they bypassed a lot of the half-back line, which meant the half-forward line weren't in the game as much. But Joe, every ball he got, he's cute, he's good. You saw the last score there, inspirational score, but gave some very good balls, fast balls in. That's what Galway done. They didn't overcomplicate it, didn't try to do things that didn't suit their game. Get the ball in fast, trust the players, first touch, trust one-on-one individual battles, and it worked for them. And I'd say they're in a good place for next week. As I said, it's a massive game against Tip, and another step up again. As you said, a 1B team in the final again, and it's a huge game for them. But it's league finals. I always felt I played in 3 of them. Jackie played a lot more of them than me, but I felt there weren't as much pressure. Obviously, as the championship, you can go out and try and express yourself, try and win it. Obviously, as a national title, but if you lose, you lose. You have a chance again in a few weeks' time, and just strive on again. So it's a nice game to play, and often they're brilliant games.
Yeah, there was one other piece we want to have a look at today. You know, in terms of, I suppose there was a bit of talk about this Johnny Cohen's incident, which we're going to show here, Ken. And I suppose, I mean, is he lucky to stay on the pitch based on what you saw here today?
Yeah, it's no. Look, I know he had a yellow card at the time. It was probably more careless and a bit more awkward. I felt he didn't mean it. You'd see by his reaction there, he got it right himself. And look, thankfully the Limerick player was okay. It was a bit awkward, it was a bit reckless. He tried to flick the ball with one hand and flick it away, and he caught the Limerick player fairly nicely. Look, thankfully he had a helmet on and everything was okay, but I think the referee used his common sense there. I don't think it was a send-off. I think it would be very harsh to send him off, and I think he just threw it in there in the game. There wasn't a dirty stroke in the game today, which was you'd like to see. And it was good, tough hurling at times in the first half, but that was a pure accident, I felt.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the moment, lads. Time for us to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have highlights